So welcome to another edition of Wealthy and Wise. I'm your host, Adam Kintigh, Executive Corporate Analyst here at NCH. And today we want to talk with, we formed a company, now what? And it is so much, it's kind of scary, a little bit nervous as you're starting a new business, making sure you're doing things right from a tax and legal standpoint. So I brought in a guy that has been doing this for over almost 3 decades. And I don't like to call him old, we call him seasoned. A seasoned professional, Mr. David Chafkar. So David, give us just a little background about you and your, how do you been in business, run business, own businesses, support our clients. You're really a rock star at everything that has to do with setting up and operating a company.
Oh, Adam, you're so kind in saying that, and I do feel a little old, but nonetheless, hopefully that comes with a little experience and gets me a little wiser at the end of the day. But for a lot of years, I've not only run my own business, as I know you have, and been an entrepreneur, and you certainly experienced the challenges of running businesses, the challenges that most individuals creating new business faces. I've been very fortunate to be with the organization for over 20 years. I'm really happy about that. And of course, through that process, we learned so much. And we're so blessed to be able to help and, translate that information to other entrepreneurs that are just coming in for the first time, really give them some good guidance and direction as to really what the next steps are. How can they take advantages of tax benefits, generating more wealth for their business, what systems, what tools they can implement and utilize to really create a dynamic business and model for themselves, and hopefully to build a lot of financial freedom moving forward. And that's really one of the advantages of working with amazing organizations like NCH, is they have such a wide range and wealth that they can provide you as an entrepreneur. So working with so many clients, getting a sense of what they do, the challenges they face, and just being able to help them and guide them along the way to make their path a lot easier.
So the first thing is we form the company. We get our articles of organization, initial organizational minutes, operating agreement, record book with the membership certificates and corporate seal. We have to apply for and receive the EIN number, make the proper tax selection, and then register appropriately with the states that we're doing business.
Correct.
So I always tell our clients that when you get your paperwork, call our office, let us walk you through everything. But the first thing really is you have to choose your tax selection. And how do you determine how this LLC should be taxed? So we can be a C Corp, S Corp, partnership, or disregarded. How do you really gauge how should this be taxed?
And that's always a really good question. I mean, those are questions we get asked a lot because, as you know, there's so many different types of entities out there: corporations, limited partnerships, LLCs, and even within those categories, there's so many subcategories, so many different choices. And you are correct. It's going to be very important to understand what tax benefits you need, what type of income you're generating. All that plays a factor into really choosing the right tax election or format for your company. Every type of entity has a benefit. And what we really have to do is personalize it and align it with the type of revenue you're earning, what your goals and objectives are, to really get a good sense as to what's going to work best for you, your business, your family, and so on. The key, though, is really, again, understanding the type of income you're earning. That's really the key, whether I'm a general business owner in, running a convenience store, or I'm an investor maybe in real estate. There's different types of income that many times each industry recognizes. And, based on that type of revenue, it's going to be important to choose the right tax election accordingly. Some need more deductions, more write-offs, more tax benefits. And so I think it's going to be really important to sit down with either a good tax professional or a good advisor to really give you direction as to what's going to be the right choice for you and your business.
Good. I try to remind people that where you're at today and where you're going to be at in 5 years from now is different.
That's critical.
But you got partners involved. Is it just you and your spouse? These things all play a role in.
Absolutely.
But the government really has given us, as business owners, a lot of tax incentives and tax benefits.
Yeah.
And I try to remind people that we're not doing anything illegal. We're following the playbook. The IRS said, here are the rules. You can run hard and fast between these two lines. Don't cross over. As long as we're staying between these two lines, our government literally gives business owners incentives.
Correct.
That the regular old W-2 employee doesn't get.
Don't get.
So I like to talk about just keeping track of expenses. So tell us about commingling of funds and how that's going to screw up your company. Because first thing, you got it formed, and you start using the wrong account
Right.
for the wrong bills, how is that going to hurt us?
Well, at the end of the day, you do want to have some formal separation. Good ledgering systems, good bookkeeping is really critical to the success of your overall business. But it is not uncommon when you're starting a business. Let's keep in mind, a brand new LLC, a brand new corporation just created, many times doesn't come with its own revenue, doesn't have its own capital to support it. And sometimes we as business owners need to step up and initially capitalize the company, put some of our own personal dollars in to give it a launch, to get it started. But having said that, really remember, when you're creating a business entity, you're really creating a separate individual in so many ways. The feds view LLCs and corporations as citizens or individuals, just like we are. And being that it is a separate entity, it has to operate separate from us. That's where our protection comes from. That's where the benefits come from. And we need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to separate the transactions, the activities for the business itself. There's a point where we are capitalizing in ourselves, but we want to make sure we're documenting all the dollars that we're putting in, whether the business is going to pay us back, whether we can take that as a deduction or write-off. But commingling, it can be a real challenge. With a lot of business owners, especially with tax boards, they look at that. Are you continuing to operate everything in your business as you are in your personal life? Am I paying for all my expenses, all my bills, using my own bank account, my own credit card, without establishing the formalities or separate accounts for my business? Those are the things you really want to monitor because the tax boards do. And to make sure that we're staying in line with the provisions that they offer or what they require. We just got to make sure that we're documenting things properly, but more importantly, keep those books separate as best you can.
Good. So I tell everybody, do just a simple monthly expense report.
Yep.
4 simple columns: date, dollar amount, who you paid, brief description of what. Always keep your itemized receipts. And the rule is we would rather keep track of too much
than not enough, right?
The CPA's job tell us if we're being too aggressive, we can always back things out. But as long as we have the expense report, it can't be seen as meanly of funds. So we formed the company, got a corporate checking account established. We have the ability to build credit.
Correct.
So we often talk about using your personal credit to fund the business. How can business credit help a customer or a business?
Oh, well, in so many ways. You got to remember, our personal credit can only take us so far. We're utilizing it to support our lives, to support our families, our households. And many times there's only so much personal credit that we can qualify for. There's a cap on how much sometimes we can get based on our income, our credit score. There's a lot of different factors. The beautiful part is, again, entities, they are separate legal bodies. They have the ability to build credit for themselves. And as a business owner, if you can take advantage of that, building a good credit score, building a good credit profile, building a good credit report, that allows your company to almost stand alone and provide buying power in so many different ways, not just basic trade lines, vendor lines, industry lines, but if done properly, even all the way up to things like major credit card lines, bank lending lines can all be developed through your business. And imagine being able to do many of that without having to provide a personal guarantee. I mean, talking about providing that separation you're looking for, and it helps with the commingling aspect because no longer am I using my own credit to provide things and support the business with. The business now is in a position where it's bringing that buying power in. So in a way, it becomes my credit partner. It's a partner to me, helping me support the endeavor of what we're trying to do in growing and creating financial freedom. Utilize that business credit. It's a very powerful source.
So SBA did a study and found that something that a ridiculous amount of businesses fail within the first 2 to 3 years. And it is based on normally not having access to capital and managing a business plan. People don't know their market. They don't know their competition. They don't know what they don't know. We call it super incompetent genius mind. They don't know. So you can assist businesses with forming an actual professional business plan.
Yeah.
And how is that going to be helpful when you're just getting the business started?
Well, remember, a business plan is like a blueprint for your company. Just like if I'm building a house, I've got to create a blueprint to allow the contractors and the engineers and everyone to understand what the next steps are in developing a proper structure or business. And really, that's what a business is. I mean, it's a structure just like a home is. And we need to do everything we can to outline how that growth is going to take place. And that's really what a business plan provides, is the step-by-step process, the marketing plans, financial plans, projections. It outlines all that. Interesting enough, when you're starting out, you go to a lender, you request for a business loan. I've done that in one of my businesses. I remember years ago, I went down to a bank and I, filled out the application for a business loan. And the banker looked at the application and said, "Perfect. But before we can submit this to underwriting, we need a business plan." Now, at that time, I didn't have a business plan, nor did I really understand the dynamics of what it provided. So after them telling me that's what I needed, I went down and I hired a professional plan writer to create the business plan to support that, hopefully, business loan or the approval process. After a few weeks of getting it done, I literally went back to the same banker. Now the application is in front of them. I said, "Okay, here's what you want. Here's what you asked for. Here's the business plan." And the banker said, "Perfect. This is exactly what we need." They literally opened the first page. They, scrolled through the other 20, 30 pages, looked at the back page for about 10 seconds, closed it up, put it on my application and said, "This is exactly what we need to now submit your request to underwriting." And I thought, great, perfect. And then I started thinking after I left, they wouldn't even process my application without the business plan. Yet when I provided them the plan, they never even looked at it. But then, after a while, you start understanding, how financial systems work or institutions work. You got to remember, underwriters, sometimes when they request those type of documents and business plans, in their mind, the plan isn't necessarily for them. They view the plan is for you as the business owner, because, if I'm a lender and you're asking me to write you a check for $300,000, I, as a lender, I need to know that you actually know what you're doing. How do we know? How can they tell that? Well, if we can articulate it in writing, we know our markets, we know our competition, we know our areas, we know our future projections, our financials. That is really what the business plan does for us. It gives us the building blocks to be able to not only grow our business, but many times to also get the type of funding we need.
Good. So whether it's hard money, private money, money from a bank, the business plan makes you look like it.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
We don't have a lot of time left on today's show, but there was a couple areas you can also help with trademarking. Of course, you have a great CPA team. You can help with taxes and the accounting and set up the QuickBooks and teach how to do those things. But you also have a division that does custom websites for a lot of clients. We're in the day and age where if you don't have a nice professional website, you don't go anywhere. So how does that work, David?
Well, that's you're correct about that. That's the beautiful part about websites, the technology age that we are in. Many times you're looking for customers, you're looking to grow your business, and what you're going to find is a lot of people looking for companies that they can use. Whether they're going to trust the company or not, many times depends on, can I find them online? I want to know a little bit about the company. Maybe I'm a smaller business, maybe a mom and pop shop, and I haven't gone down those paths of creating a presence. Or any type of marketing, through website, things like that. Many times I lose the advantage of bringing in new customers, growing a good business foundation because of that. One of the great things about NCH is those are areas that our team assists you with. We provide you direction. We even provide assistance in developing these type of things to really give you the presence you need to really grow your business.
So I was on my phone this morning and I was looking at trying to find a coffee shop near me. So of course I typed that in, and those are special features that I think that your team, as part of the custom website development, can help with the near me now. So when someone types it in, your company's showing up visible and open for business. So it's fantastic. All these support services that can help in getting you up and running. When you don't know what to do, I always remind people, we have an amazing client service team. Call our 800 number, ask for help. We are an open book with our knowledge. Our goal really is to provide excellent service for all of the clients that we set up and service and support over the years. So David, thank you so much for appreciate you being here. Thank you for another edition of Wealthy and Wise, and have a great rest of your day.